It is my distinct honor to now invite our esteemed guest of honor, Mr. Ghanshyam Prasad, Chairperson of the Central Electricity Authority, to give his address. Mr. Prasad is a power sector veteran with over 3 decades of experience. Formerly, he was Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Power, where he has also served in various capacities including Director, Operation and Maintenance Transmission, and Chief Engineer, Operation and Maintenance, Transmission, Reforms and Restructuring, and Regulatory Compliance Monitoring. Over the years, he has played a pivotal role in shaping policies across generation, transmission, distribution, and market reforms. An alumnus of IIT BHU and IIT Delhi, Mr. Prasad brings deep expertise in regulatory frameworks, energy efficiency, and power sector transformation. Sir, can you please come forward to address the gathering?
Good morning everyone. Sri R.V. Saiji, Sri V.S. Verma ji, S.M. Mahajan ji, and Mrs. Goel, who are sitting on the dais, and all the dignitaries who are sitting off the dais, and the delegates who are present in the hall today. Let me at the outset thank India Energy Forum for inviting me to be a part of this session at a time which is very, very apt and it is desirable. The topic also selected is very, very important. Only yesterday we were debating in ministry that normally when it comes to decarbonization topic, we always only think about RE and leave aside nuclear. So we were debating in ministry, can nuclear also be a part of renewables, as it is not, it has nothing to do with the carbon emission as such. Honorable Minister has told us to find out ways and means how it can be integrated, and can India take a lead on this particular aspect and showcase the world that under the decarbonization, let us try to target this as well. That definitely leads us to the changes in the policy in the recent past. You must have seen that initially we also thought around 3 years back or 4 years back that we can do. What I was saying is we were also thinking that we can do and achieve decarbonization mainly through renewables, could be supported by storage. But of late we realized that probably we will be missing the aspirations of the consumers of the country. Grid stability is also going to be an issue. And we very quickly decided and came back the moment we saw that our demand growth is going at a rate of around 10% or so. And the decision was quick enough for a reversal of the stand on the coal-based generations. We initially said around 80 gigawatt. Now we have revised that target to around 97 gigawatt. 70 is under construction. 7 are under bidding. 20 identified and will be taken up soon. We are targeting these capacities by latest by 32 or 34. That's the time frame in which we would like to have it. But this is not enough, particularly if I see the kind of changes that is happening in the grid behavior and particularly in the operational context, and the kind of disturbances that is happening, particularly the areas where the renewables are increasing at the same place almost. Sai Sahab mentioned that same location having 20 gigawatt, 30 gigawatt. But sir, मैं आपको बताऊं कि राजस्थान में ही खुद ही अभी रफली 116 गीगावाट का तो ऑलरेडी प्लान हो चुका है. 32 गीगावाट इंट्रा स्टेट में और प्लान हुआ है. जब से हमने ISTS वेवर का एक सिग्नल दिया है, तो इंट्रा स्टेट में सब लोग जाग गए हैं एंड दे आर ऑल्सो ट्राइंग टू हैव लॉट ऑफ कैपेसिटी विद इन द स्टेट. Certain nuances that was happening earlier because of the ISTS waiver, people were trying to evacuate their own requirement through the ISTS and trying to take it back on the same state. Such kind of nuances, when it was observed, that has been arrested now. So mostly the things and the intra-state part will start getting developed as well. So in Rajasthan alone, it is going to be somewhere around 150 to 160 gigawatt in the same state. It's going to be a challenge, and we are trying to see how best we can address these through the operational issues. My earlier speakers have already highlighted the requirement, maybe up to 2047 or 2070, seeing the net zero aspirations of the country, and the figure that we had worked out earlier for 2047, which was presented in 14th of October 2024. But definitely something more to add on that is two major activities that has happened since then, and one is the development in the nuclear front and the target which have been announced this year, that can we go up to and can we achieve 100 gigawatt of nuclear capacity. Certain changes are required and we are working on it, but we are sure about around 22 gigawatt being achieved, when jumping from 8 gigawatt at present to 22 gigawatt by 2032 or at the most by 2034, and further taking it up to around 100 gigawatt by 2047, which is the plan of the government. Similarly, in the space of hydro PSP, we started with somewhere around 4.7 gigawatt, and we are already at more than 6 now. This year we are going to commission around 3000 megawatt of hydro PSP. First time after a gap of around 15 years, PSP has started coming back to life. And we are targeting somewhere around 50 gigawatt in the recent past, maybe around 7 to 8 years time frame, and then going up to 100 gigawatts in another 10 to 12 years time frame. That's our target. In this endeavor, a lot of things have happened in this sector, and particularly in terms of the concurrence process, which used to get delayed, the DPR preparation itself, concurrence, all of them have been expedited. There is a clear visibility how it has to be prepared. Certain unwanted chapters have been deleted. So we have restricted it only to the mandatory, around only 12 chapters, which is less than 50% of the earlier DPRs that we used to prepare earlier. MOEF has also relaxed certain conditions, and because of which, particularly the closed loop off stream, which is not linked to the river, they are getting clearances in a much faster manner. And this led us to give concurrence of around 7.5 gigawatt of PSP last year. And this year, so far, we have already given 6 gigawatt concurrence, and we are targeting somewhere around 25 to 30 gigawatt in this particular financial year itself of the hydro PSP. Government is also trying to give some fund for the enabling infrastructure, which will be of the tune of around 1 crore to 1.5 crores per megawatt, depending on case-to-case basis. And good thing that has started is the government has also taken a decision of ISTS waiver for hydro PSP up to 2028, June 2028, which is also going to push it further. Questions are being raised, and today also I think we are all debating that should PSP or BESS, which one should be preferred. I'll say there are distinct advantages of both. If you really need in a quick time frame, you go ahead with BESS. But if you are really looking at a very longer time frame, hydro PSP definitely will be a much better choice, particularly not only with respect to the meeting the evening peak demand, but also seeing the grid conditions and grid stability and inertia point of view. particularly if I see in terms of the costing also, because what is going to be its competitor? Competitor is likely to be either nuclear or coal, which we are targeting, and these costs are going to be of the order of 6.5, 6 rupees 50 paisa to, and slightly higher than this. Already we have tested that figure, and in future time frames probably it will be much higher than this. PSP definitely will be much cheaper than this, and most suiting to the load requirement as per the distribution utilities who will be needing them in the evening hours, and that is the non-solar hours. In any case, solar hours is not going to be a challenge, and the power is available at a much cheaper rate during this particular period. Another push that is happening is in the area of distributed renewable energy. That means it is either coming through the rooftop or through smaller grids. And there I see a good traction, particularly the PM Surya Ghar itself, which is going to give you around 30,000 megawatt. And there are more schemes. Maybe Sarangeji will be able to deliberate more on those aspects. But what is more important, the point that I wanted to highlight here is, since the number is increasing, there has to be a mechanism of aggregating these informations, and this information must be available with the load dispatchers, so that at least the nuances of the high capacity DREs is also known to them, and they are able to manage the grid in a much better manner. As an advisory, CEA has already issued that we need at least 10% of storage capacity in this, and particularly in the rural areas, if you can integrate at least around 2 hours of storage, that is going to give more reliability to the rural folk and rural customers, as well as that can give better visibility to the grid as well. Only one word of caution I would like to put it here is, storage one should plan, but please plan as per your requirement. Don't plan over capacity, because the costing what we see, particularly in the BESS as of now, is if you are planning for 1.6 to 1.7 cycle, still the cost is quite competitive. But if you are not able to utilize to that cycle, and if you are able to utilize hardly for one cycle in a year, then probably the costing will be entirely different. So cost economics, please be careful when you are really planning battery energy storage systems in your kitty. Because what is happening right now, because a lot of people keep coming to me and say that, okay, I have a curtailment of solar. I say, how much time your solar is being curtailed? That time lays hardly 1% to 2% of the time, and if that you are targeting to be saved through the battery storage system, probably you will not be able to run the entire battery or use battery storage for 1.5 cycle or 1.7 cycles. So please be careful when you are doing this. CEA has definitely done resource adequacy plan, which indicates what are the resources that you will be requiring in an optimal manner. We did 2 rounds of exercise that has been completed. Earlier we did it for 30-32 time frame, which was revised to 34-35, and for all the DISCOMs, and these are all year-wise requirement is already there, and how much solar, how much wind, how much storage they will be requiring, they are already there in those resource adequacy plan. What we have tried to do is, we have tried to make it dynamic because of the changes that is happening very fast, and people need to tie up this power as quickly as possible, so that they don't run short of the capacity to meet the demand of electricity. Very important part is, if I am targeting such amount of renewables into the system, do we also have the similar structure for the transmission, which often is being asked to me, that there is always a delay and still the transmission is not adequate. But let me tell you, is at least the 500 gigawatt plan of transmission that we had made, we are going ahead with that plan, and right now around whatever is in the pipeline, we are not far behind in those plans. The only thing that happens in some of the places, and I am aware about certain locations where there are delays, particularly some of the locations in Rajasthan, some locations in South and Maharashtra as well. We are trying to see that how quickly we are able to address these concerns, and mostly it is related to either ROW or this. So when we discussed in ministry, we found out a solution. Can we resolve this? And that is how the new guidelines to resolve the ROW issues have come up, wherein we have agreed for market value now. So hopefully this innovative construct is likely to solve the issues of ROW as we go along, and new lines may be commissioned in a faster manner. Because of the transmission being a challenge, and any further evacuation requires HVDC, so we thought why not to have more intensive exercise for the intrastate transmission line as well. And CEA has started doing resource adequacy plan for the transmission as well for the next 10 years for each and every states. So far we have completed around 12 states, and by November or by October itself, we are planning to complete all other states as well. These plans again are going to be on the public website. So my request to all the RE developers is please see those and try to now replan your system so that at least you are able to gain more traction on the renewables where it can be integrated. Just like what we did for the ISTS for 500 gigawatt, and there was a greater visibility of the location particularly where the renewables are going to be integrated into the systems. So similarly, in addition to the ISTS, intrastate transmission lines visibility is also likely to be there. We are also thinking of going for a new higher voltage, particularly going from 765 kV to 1100 kV HVAC. We have identified 9 transmission lines and 10 substations in this area. We are facing some challenges from the manufacturer side. They need some time to upgrade their manufacturing capacity. But hopefully this year, later part of this year, we would like to bid it out, and so that at least in next 4 to 5 years, we should start upgrading our voltages to 1100 kV as well, which will help us in evacuating more power of renewable power from the same corridors. Since manufacturing is a challenge in the supply chain, we are facing a lot of issues, particularly in the transmission and particularly in the HVDC systems. We have taken a number of meetings with the manufacturers so that can we augment our own manufacturing facility in India, and the response is quite positive, and we will be able to probably expedite or reduce the waiting time in the transmission equipment as well. Right now the challenges mostly are in the transformers, reactors, in that space. Good thing is coming out from and good news is for the grid forming inverters. A lot of innovations are happening in this particular space, and if we are able to really have a good breakthrough in the grid forming inverters, probably our grid stability part can be addressed to a greater extent. We are on job. Hopefully, I think from the technical aspects, from all policy related matters, to support the RE industry for the purpose of reaching the goal of decarbonization of the country in a given time frame of 2070. Exercise has also been done by CEA in that time frame. What definitely will be the requirement? We have not made the figures public. This is a joint exercise being done through NITI Aayog, and in that scenario, we have also tried to consider if we expedite and try to see that the power sector gets decarbonized or maybe achieve net zero in power sector alone, can be expedited by 10 years or maybe 20 years. That means by 2050 or 2060, then what is going to be the scenario? Very soon you will find this report also to be in the public domain, and hopefully all of us, all the industry partners, renewables, nuclear, all the manufacturers and the government, definitely all of us will work together to achieve this kind of a goal. Thank you so much.